Well, welcome back to the second hour of this free practice session for the third round of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship here at CHANGHUA in Taipei on the west coast of the island of Taipei. We've got about another hour session after we had 1 hour session and about a half-hour break for the boys to have a bit of a drink and a bit of a change of, change of setup, really, just fine-tuning the motorcycles with a bit of handlebar movement and stuff. I'm Mark Brax, I'm the series commentator, joined by Barry Russell again in this round as we try and bring you all the action and up-to-date information about what's happening out on track at this great little circuit with a go-kart track and about 400 metres of dirt section. With the session just gone, we've got Lewis Cornish, a man that has been dominant in the 2 rounds so far, leading the way with a 66-second lap, right on the button. And the man that's giving chase at the moment, the 2015 FIM Asia Supermoto Championship, Trikan Tantong, on his Husky as well. And he's only about 0.5 of a second behind him. And Barry, I reckon those times are going to close on down this afternoon as those boys get a bit more confident and learn a few of the idiosyncrasies of the track, particularly the dirt section.
Yeah, I think so. What was noticeable for me in that first session was that Lewis set his fastest lap, the one at the top of at the end of the session, very early on actually, and Trikan, who's only half a second behind, as you said, he set his fast lap right at the end of the session. So it'll be so Trikan's got the momentum now. Let's see. I mean, you can never write off Lewis Cornish, as we know very well, but
well, he even said just in that break he reckons they're going to get into the 1 minute 8s, 1 minute 1 minute 8.5s, 1 minute 6s by tomorrow, which is about half a second off what he's doing at the moment. And that'll bring them all down. And I reckon once they get a bit more experience on this track and learn how to actually take this second jump, talking to on that back section, just you and me were talking to Lewis and a couple of the others, that you hit it the wrong way, you're going up in the air too much and coming down and actually stopping. You got too much hang time in the air instead of getting the drive off the jump, maybe not hitting it quite as fast. To tell a racer that's probably looking for a slap in the head, but I think they understood. Oh, I've just had a rider down there as we're looking from our vantage point. I think that is one of our, is that the Japanese man or one of our Taiwanese riders that's pushed a little bit too hard going into that turn number 5.
It's the first man down that I've seen so far this round.
Well, there have been a couple of crashes. We're talking, one of them was our Singaporean Hazroy Osman, who went down. He went down coming off the jump. The wind got hold of him, he said, because his wind is really having an effect on them as they're getting a bit of airtime as well. It's on screen at the moment. We're seeing that looks like Trikan actually out there on bike number 5, is it?
Yeah, let's I think so, yeah.
Or is that Kyrie?
Oh, it's Kyrie Zacharias. So let's see how he coaches it.
That's a bit better.
Yeah, you can see how he was tipping the bike down into the wind, because the wind's blowing straight into his face as he's coming up over that jump. As you said, it's a very steep takeoff, that. So if you do hit it too hard, you're just going to fly up in the air and lose time and distance.
Yeah, I think they'll learn that. They've come back and had a bit of a think about it. And great sportsmanship when they're in the paddock there afterwards, and it is a paddock, that Lewis Cornish went round and said, good luck guys, all the best, and go out there and have a bit of fun. So very good camaraderie, and I suppose it's got to be with this travelling circus that we've got, that we're going around, staying in the same hotel, probably eating in virtually the same restaurants every night. So yeah, it's good to see that everybody's getting on so well together. But once they get out there on track, it's every man for himself.
Yeah, definitely so. Of course, for virtually all these riders, every track they're coming to is new. This one, there's a few riders familiar with it. There's the local, there's the 2 local riders.
And also Naoto Takayama comes down as a bit of a play down here.
Yeah, so I believe so. He's competing in the Taiwanese Supermoto Championship as well. But the general thing is, for this travelling circus, as you call it, is that most of the riders are going to tracks for the first time, and the nature of Supermoto is such that that very often you won't even have the same circuits from one year to the next.
I reckon that'll change in the future, though. I think there'll be a few well, particularly at Solo Baru, that where they want to, well, after that event we had a few weeks ago, it's only about a month ago really, it seems like a long time ago, but they're very keen to get the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship back there as well, and there's a few other places putting their hand up as well to be a part of this ever-growing championship.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that was a city centre Supermoto show, and it absolutely set the city alight through the weekend. Two or 3 days of the event, I suppose 3 in total. Very busy for the second two. We estimated 35,000 spectators came through the top of hundreds of thousands of viewers who watched the live streaming.
And on bike number 32 on screen at the moment, we've still got Kyrie's Zakaria there.
Yeah,
the Malaysian, well, he's basically flying the flag for Malaysia this week, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He is indeed in the absence of Gabbett, and he's at the top of the timing sheets in this session yet so far. But Lewis Cornish not on track yet. But Harry Zakaria, he's done 1:10 something on about his second or third flying lap. But he was looking very fast and smooth in that opening session.
And that's what it's all about, being as smooth as possible and getting all those laps together, all the corners linked up.
Yeah, because when we saw Trakan late in the session put in that very quick time, he actually looked slower than he had for most of the session, but he was just being smooth. He got the hang of that tricky jump with a steep takeoff, and he put in a lap that got within half a second of Lewis Cornish, the championship leader and the dominant rider so far in the 2017 championship. So riding with Zakaria now, he was definitely happy with that first session, and smiling all over his face as he ran to the bike for this session.
And backing it in there to, well, that first re-entry section onto the bitumen. No, pardon me, he was back onto the pit straight again. Yeah, very similar corners.
Yeah, the surface we've got here seems quite abrasive. I know a couple of the riders have shredded a set of tyres in the first hour.
And they're riding very hard. So at the moment, in this session, a 1:08.481, so he's really nailed it this already. Lewis Cornish said he was going to go out and maybe do that tomorrow. He's done it now. He's already taken about 0.6 of a second off his time from the first session.
We've got another man down there, and
that is Lewis.
So he pushed it and he found the limit. That won't worry him too much.
Zakaria there in second spot, and then in third spot it's bike number 7, Pedro Werner at the moment, a 1:14.679. Which is slower than he, so I wouldn't really be taking too much notice of anything behind the top two at the moment.
Not at the moment, no. There's no time recorded yet for Trakan Tang Tong, the Thai rider who was second fastest in the 1 hour session.
And it'll be interesting to see how much time these guys take up at this final hour practice session this afternoon. Because there's only so much you can do before you think, well, might as well pack up and just get ready for tomorrow, and we have the 30-minute qualifying session and also the 20-minute Supermoto Super Chrono for the top 6 riders to discuss, I suppose is a good way of putting it, their positions on the grid. So Cornish, well, it was a very small whoopsie there just coming off the dirt section where he's been trying a few different antics there. I was just wondering, his bark buster was flapping in the breeze. I thought he was actually hitting his clutch lever down, but he'll be coming into the pits to get Justin, his mechanic, to get to work again.
Going to be annoying him, so in he comes.
Is he? Yeah, he's backing it off.
Cruising around.
No, he's going for another lap. Oh no, I'm still getting ahead of myself as I'm getting used to this track as well.
Yeah.
He's trying to get some dust off his tyres.
So yeah, I think we'll see him come into the pits now as he comes off this right-hander.
No.
Or not? No. Yes, he is. Yes,
He's into the corner. backs it in there, taking a very wide line, tightens it up a bit to go through turn 2 and get a good line into turn 3. And you'll notice he'll come out of turn 3 and then to turn 4. He runs across the ripple strip. Turn 5 very tight. We've seen one of the riders crash there. Now onto the dirt section, using a bit of a berm to get some drive over the first jump over a double. And then another couple of whoopties there that double up as a double as well before they come back on to this very technical leap. If you do it too hard, you're going to hang in the air too much. This is where Cornish crashed a little while ago.
In the air as well. I reckon it's about 2.5 seconds for the top riders. They're hovering above the track. Let's see what Lewis even after crashing and picking the bike up, he did a 122.
That's not too bad. It just shows you how undaunted these guys are.
Yeah. No, he's cruising now.
Yeah, you're right. You're a couple of laps too early, but I reckon he's going to come in this time.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be affected by that bark buster. I thought it might have been hitting him in the knuckles, but he's just cruising at the moment, one hand off the bars. Yeah, so he's really set the Zakaria there in a 108.752, so he's right on the pipe as well.
Yeah, so he's less than 0.3 of a second behind Lewis, who's looks like he's got another problem there. Let's see what happens when he comes round to the pit entry. So looking now at number 7, Pedro Wuna, the Indonesian. He's third, but only on a 1:14, so that's not an indicative time.
No, well, he was a bit quicker earlier on by about 1.5 seconds. So maybe he's had a bit of a change the gearing or whatever, and thought that it was better off to come back in.
Yeah, well, he's just on a cruise at the moment too.
And you can see how much that wind is ripping up the dust. It's not only the roost of the rear tyre that's spitting that dirt out, it's the wind's starting to whip it around in a bit of a frenzy as well.
Yeah, so it is a really stiff breeze. I haven't checked the temperature here, but I think it's about 22 or 23 degrees. But in between these first 2 practice sessions, when I was having a look around the paddock in the shade, it was pretty chilly, even for an Englishman.
And who's getting that way? And as we get on to the ever closer to winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's not as if Taiwan's in the tropics, it's further north than Hong Kong and Macau, and getting up towards level with Shanghai, and getting towards Japan as well as bike 101 comes in.
Yeah, that's Takashi Sasaki, or Sasayan as he's better known.
He was in a 123, so he's certainly taken some time off his laps there, as we might get blown away at the moment. It's the way the wind resistance.
Yeah, certainly getting the tarpaulin certainly getting a battering around our heads here. So somebody on the move there. That's Lewis again.
He hasn't bothered about fixing that bark buster up.
No.
Still flapping around like I'm being on a clothesline.
There he comes into the dirt section. Bounced off the side banking there. Nice and smooth over those whoops.
Yeah, turning him into doubles up the berm. And now
let's see how he tackles this one.
Yeah, a bit slower and a bit, so he's getting the distance. He's actually had a bit of a think about that, because as we said, if you hit it too hard, you're going skywards and not going far enough forward to really maintain your momentum. You lose, as you said, about 2.5 seconds in air. You're probably losing about half a second in actual lap time.
Well, that's right. As you saw, he took off as flat. He kept the bike as flat as he could over the jump, so he didn't lose any.
And I think he's about the only man out on track at the moment. A lot of them. 6 of the 11 haven't, or 7 of the 11 haven't come out on track at the moment.
Yeah, there's a bike stopped at the final turn now. I don't know who that is or what his problem seems to be, but they've left the track to the championship leader there. I don't know how sensible that is to do. I wouldn't trust Lewis out on his own there if I was one of his
Down into
competitors.
107.4, so he's taken a second and a half off his time from the first practice session. So he's really thrown down the gauntlet and said, well, this is the time I'm going to do. And he might even surprise himself about how fast he's actually pulled onto this one.
Yeah, that was a higher jump, but the bike was nice and flat then. And yeah, the others really need to watch out, because if they're in the paddock at the moment, which most of them are, the championship leaders out, they're knocking a second at a time, a second a lap off his times.
And he picks the bike up onto the fat part of the tyre and drives down into the final corner. Backs it in nicely.
Yeah. Leans off the bike. Nice smooth entry into turn one, and he's backed off there. Didn't catch his time there at the end of the first of that lap.
And he'll be pulling into the pits, I'd say.
So he's cruising. So yeah. So the fastest time there for the only man on track and the championship leader, Lewis Cornish. He's done a 107.461. He did a 109. I think that was his fastest lap in the first session. And he's just spuddling along onto the dirt section now. We've got some other bikes out on track now.
And we're getting down to it, like there's not a lot of action hanging out on track at the moment. They've all started, I'm probably thinking, well, what am I going to do? I'll go out there in tomorrow's qualifying and have a bit of a workout on what's going on, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think they did their orientation in the first session, Braxy, and they know where they can bring the times down. Lewis has just done it again, though he's on a cruise this lap. Now off come the goggles.
I think he might be parking it for the afternoon. What do you reckon there, Bash?
I think he probably will. He's got the fastest lap of the day now by more than a second. He knows where the track goes. He knows where to place himself on the dirt. So yeah, he could well be parking it for the afternoon. You can see there's 37 minutes left, and we've got now on track number 101. That's is that number 101?
I don't know if we'll be doing a 101. After getting down to the 106s.
Yeah, this is
or 107s as a matter of fact.
Yeah, this is 102. This is CHANGHUA K, the Hong Kong rider. Taking it nice and easy. There's another bike on track, because I just heard it come down the home straight.
Bang, that would have given you a bit of a jar in the spine. That one, that's a perfect example, a graphic example of what we mean about getting the leap off the, that was CHANGHUA K, the Chinese rider, or the Hong Kong rider, pardon me.
Yeah, that's right. You wouldn't want to have your tongue between your teeth if you landed that one.
I could even rattle a few loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pardon me.
I think that was the Supermoto equivalent of a belly flop.
It is, isn't it? Or of a case out in a motocross event.
Yeah. Chris, who else have we got here?
These are some of our
number 27. We got
not so fast riders. Bike number 27.
That's the Chinese rider, Sun Tong. Yeah.
He's might even have a few friends dropping over from China to have a look, because I'm sure the Taiwanese people will be having a lot of people turn up for the event.
Yeah, I saw quite a few. They look like VIP type spectators in the paddock just now. But there's quite a few people milling about and having a look, and they all move back towards the VIP suite as the whistle blew for the start of the second free practice session.
Well, there's some good vantage points for these spectators to have a look at this track, and where you can see, well, basically everywhere from the track. There's a little a roof terrace that you can have a look at.
Yep.
So his best time for Sung Tong is a 1:16. So he's certainly got to find something if he's going to threaten to have a podium position in any of the races tomorrow. But Sung Tong's more just out there having a bit of a fun than anything else.
Yeah, he's one of the older riders, and he loves this series. He loves the sport, and it's good to see him coming out at every meeting. One of the stalwarts, we might say. So he's improved a bit. It's 1:15. Little power wheelie there as he came out of that bend. Got somebody cruising around after him. There's nobody really seems though they're on it. Oh, okay. So looking at the screen there, Chakan Tantong, the Thai rider who's in the championship chase. He's on track now. He's done all 1:10.8. But that's probably on his first flying lap.
Yeah,
so
it's a 1.2 seconds slower than what he did an hour ago.
Yeah,
so
I think he's only just come out for this session.
Yeah.
So the riders seem to have plenty of time, maybe more time than they really need. We've got Pedro Wuna. He hasn't improved since the first part of the session. Got him and Takashi Sasaki. They're both in the 1:14s. Come back, we've got some more airtime for Sun Tong, the Hong Kong rider, number 27.
Pedro, yeah, these guys are all just coming out. They've probably made a few
Yeah.
changes, maybe a gearing change just to see what difference it does make.
CHANGHUA K, who managed to 1:15, number 102. Also, I don't think we've seen Naoto out in this session. No, we haven't. Number 300, who was very fast off the blocks in the first session. He's one of the few riders that actually is familiar with this track. To explain why he got down to the top, or got up to the top of the leaderboard.
Such quick times in
yes,
such a short space of time.
Exactly. Takashi Sasaki, he went very well at the last round in Indonesia, at Solobarun, Indonesia, Central Java. He's having a gentle introduction to this round. His best time is like a 1:14.8. What did he do in the first session? He did only 4 laps in the first session, so this is his first time out in anger. He suffers a bit with arm pump, does Sasayan, Takashi Sasaki. Whenever he's not on the bike, we see him with a machine trying to decompress his forearms.
Yeah, they would get a bit of arm pump around here too.
Yeah, I asked a couple of the riders whether they were experiencing any problems with brake overheating or boiling fluid, but I think a combination of the air time that the discs are getting on the longer straights and the cooler weather means that there's no problems that with boiling brake fluid as we saw in the first 2 rounds in Thailand and Indonesia.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on, the boiling brake fluid, just for the heat, and plus the different nature of the tracks too. I don't think the fluid was actually getting any time to cool off.
Well, that's right.
As particularly at Solo Baru in the middle of Java there, because they were off the gas, on the brakes, off the gas, on the brakes, and then yeah, very short little bursts of power.
Yeah, it was really tricky, that circuit. So Trakan just brought his time down by another second. He's on a 1:09.869 now. And Lee Chin-pei from Taiwan, he's going to be on about 1:12, I think. Just saw him on the screen just then.
So about halfway through this second practice session for the 3rd round of the FIM Supermoto Championships.
Yeah, riding with one of the local riders, Lee Chin-pei. Change at the top, yeah. Lin Chin Pei. He's 112.8. That's his best time of the afternoon.
And I think the sun might be having a bit of effect to it a couple of points of this track. Look how the shadows are very lengthening, or lengthening a lot, and they're coming through that back section or the front section of the track.
Yeah, you can see the sun there glaring from behind the VIP box.
We've got those iridium visors on to try and dissipate the solar rays a bit better to make it a bit easier to see.
Yeah, that's Roy Osman, another of the series regulars. He went reasonably well in the first session. Osman he did a 112 in the first session. He's only just come out for this session. No change at the top. We've got Naoto Takayama. He's now back up the leaderboard. He's done a 110. One of the Japanese rider that competes in the Taiwanese Championship, so he's got a bit of local knowledge advantage that he's put into good use.
And we can see how dramatic, look at those corn stalks in the background there. They're getting blown around something frantically at the moment.
Yeah.
So that wind has actually picked up in the last half an hour too.
Yeah, I think it has. I was surprised when we went outside after the first practice session just how stiff that wind is. I was calling it a breeze earlier on, but it's now definitely a wind.
Yeah, a gusty wind at that too. It's been throwing them off a bit in the air as well, and actually picking the bike up at various points of the track too.
Yeah, over that difficult jump, it's coming straight into them head on, which is another good reason for keeping the bike nice and flat and the nose down. Those banners blowing like spinnakers there. FIM Asia Supermoto and the Asia Supersports Group. Asia Supersports Group, of course, the series promoter, taking the championship up another level this season. With more rounds, more different circuits, and the very high quality HD live streaming that they put together in conjunction with 23 TV. That's really made a difference as well, and it's certainly made our job a lot easier with the quality of the pictures we've got right in front of us and the timing appearing on the same screen.
Yeah, great job by the lads there that are just up the channel a bit from us. A couple of tables up.
Yeah, these lads doing a great job.
So there doesn't appear to be that many guys out on track at the moment either.
No, Lewis has come in, and if the track is munching up tyres, a lot of them probably haven't brought that many with them, so they'll have that in mind as well, because it's going to be a busy day tomorrow with practice qualifying, Super Chrono for the top 6, and then of course for the 2 motos. So you're going to need plenty of rubber for that lot. So Lin Chin Pei now 5th place on a 112.6. So we've got 4 riders under the 110 now.
Yeah, and that's starting to they'll close up again tomorrow during the practice or the qualifying session in the Supermoto, and then the racing 2 30-minute sessions plus the 2 laps as well.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, and the riders that have done under the 110s are the 3 main championship contenders, we have to say, as the unfortunate Gabbett is sidelined with some nasty injuries after a Supercross accident.
Well, at least he's on the mend and on the road to repair. He was given the all clear by his doctors, but his employers and sponsors, KTM Malaysia or KTM Asia, have said, no, mate, have a bit of a rest. You know, you're the defending champion. We don't want you to put you to go and get fully fit and then come back. Where we really want you is at the 2 rounds, final rounds at Singapore, and a week later at Malaysia on the 10th and 16th of December, respectively.
Yeah, and full credit, I have to say, to KTM Malaysia for taking care of their rider, because you know very well, Braxy, if you're a rider and you think you're fit enough to get on a bike, or even half fit enough to get on a bike, you're going to jump on it and race and do what you can, especially when you're a championship contender.
And the other guys, the actual sponsors, will encourage you to get. But you feel you're good enough, mate? Get out there and have a go. And no, it's good to see that they're letting get a bit healthier and be fully fit for, like we said, those last 2 rounds in the 10th and 16th.
Yeah, defending the championship is looking like too much of a big ask for Gabbett, unfortunately. You see Naoto Takayama, he's improved his time by about 0.7 of a second. He's on a 109.2. Harry Zakaria, he's on a 108.7. And Zakaria, he's 1.3 seconds behind Lewis Cornish, who's not currently on track. Trakan on 109.8. I haven't seen him on track for a while. And then there's a 3-second gap after this top 4 to Lin Chin Pei, the local rider, Taiwanese rider.
Yeah, so at the moment we've still got Lewis in control there, Zakaria there in second, and like you said, the Japanese guy there in 3rd position.
Yeah,
Naoto
Takayama, yeah.
He's in a really good, strong position, I reckon, and you know, we think that Lewis Cornish is, well, he is dominating the series. He's won 4 from 4 races, but it won't take much at those times for someone to come down and give him a bit of a hurry up. And Takayama has been around this track a number of times, so he knows his way around.
Yeah, he does. You can see how much he enjoys riding here too. Just from that half an hour or so we spent trackside during the very early part of the first session.
And he's slowing it down a little bit now as
yeah,
probably getting a bit tired too, I'd say.
Yeah, we're looking at number 40, another local rider. That's Li Wei, Supermoto Taiwan rider, championship regular. He's just on a bit of a cruise around at the moment. In fact, it's not even a cruise, is it?
Nah. Just motoring and keeping the engine going.
So yeah, sort of car park speed he's going. So I think the top riders are not on the track at the moment. Indonesia's got a sole representative here, of course, in the last round, which was their home round at Solo Baru in Central Java. We had.
It's a pity that a few of the other lads didn't make it across.
Yeah, Donny Tata Pradita, he's got another commitment in a national championship there, I believe. The other rider, Hendra, not sure why he's not here, which is a shame. He was consistently a little quicker than Pedro. Pedro down in 7th there. He's on a 114, so he needs to find something to get up with the championship contenders or somewhere close to them. So another rider there diffing his bike forward over that tricky steep takeoff on the big jump. It's Naoto Takayama. Yep, he knows his way around. Nice and smooth. So he's riding gleefully, I would say. Naoto Takayama. Sliding around, he really does know this track. You can see it now.
And you can hear the crowd in the background giving him a bit of a hurry up too. He's pretty spectacular when it comes to throwing the bike around, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, you can see the joy in his riding, can't you? Almost see him smiling.
Yeah, well, he's
onto the dirt section.
He's not smiling very often, that's for sure. He's always got a big grin on his face.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yep, he enjoys himself. He seems to throw himself headlong into whatever he happens to be doing. Yeah, he's got that jump absolutely nailed. Sharp, abrupt takeoff, but then he keeps the bike absolutely flat and just tilted down a bit at the front so he doesn't lose too much time in the air.
And we're going down in the last 20 minutes of this free practice session, and just, well, this doesn't have any effect on the positions tomorrow. Like it says, it is free practice. It's just go out there and get used to the bike, get used to the track, find out where you can get a bit quicker if you need to make any changes, gearing changes, maybe a changing compound of the tyre.
Yeah, well, they found they found this track to be quite abrasive, quite hard on tyres, and a lot of the teams have brought their own tyres with them, so they'll be looking at their supply and thinking how they're going to stretch them over the course of tomorrow. And they've got practice qualifying Super Chrono for the top 6, and of course the 2 motos, which are 20 minutes plus 2 laps. We've got Trakan Tangtong on track now, the 2015 champion. He's back, and his best time so far, a 1:08.8 in this session, and that was quicker than his time in the first session. On the dirt now, which is you might say his natural habitat with his extensive motocross and supercross experience.
And that's a graphic demonstration of just how much air they're getting with that close-up shot of him leaping over that very demanding. It doesn't look too much, but we actually saw it this morning. We thought that's a good up ramp for that one, and it's come to fruition that it is. Yeah,
it's a really steep takeoff, and you saw how well he managed that just by keeping the bike so flat. You could easily do a backflip off that one, actually, if you had the skill. I was talking about you then, Braxy, not me.
I'd do a backflip, but I probably wouldn't be with the bike.
Yeah, he's working his way through that first sector. To the left. And back into the dirt. Yeah, he improved his time on that last lap. He's on a 1:08.5, so that puts him just over a second behind Lewis Cornish for this session, and indeed for the best times of the day, which we're seeing now. And he's 0.2 of a second faster than Kerry Zakaria. And you'd have to say those 3 are the main championship contenders in action this weekend, in the absence of the 2016 champion, the defending champion, Gabit Saleh, or Mohammed Habibullah, which is his proper name.
I don't think he has been called his proper name in about 5 years, at least.
I think so, yeah. I thought it was just his nickname, Gabit, but when he added me on Facebook, I saw his name, he calls himself Gabit Saleh on Facebook, which I heard you call him in Indonesia. But it's definitely between these 3 at the front. Chased, you have to say, by the Japanese rider Naoto Takayama, who's 1.2 seconds back now from Kerry Zakaria in 4th place, but has the benefit of the local knowledge and clearly enjoys riding this track. So Trakan back over that jump again, perfectly taken. Just watch how he gets this transition and a 180-degree turn. Smooth as silk on here, so he could be on a quick lap again this time. He just backed off then on that turn. So he's on a cruise. Who else is on a flyer? I think Lewis is in. He might be saving his tyres. He's talking to his crew chief Justin. Said we didn't bring that many tyres with us. Yeah, so Trakan coming into the pits now. He can be reasonably happy with that 1:08.5 that he's got under his belt. So the time so far, Lewis Cornish on a 1:07.46. He's in 1st place. In 2nd place, Trakan Tangtong, the Thai rider. It's on a 1:08.522. And in 3rd place, the Malaysian, Kerry Zakaria, another championship contender, He's done a 108.7, so just 2 seconds adrift of Trakan Tang Tong. And in fourth place, the last man so far anyway, under the 110 mark, is Naoto Takayama, and he's done a 109.268. Behind those top four, got Lin Chin Pei, the Taiwanese rider. He's done a 112. You've got Hazroy Osman, the Singapore rider, on 113.16. And you've got Li Wei, another Taiwanese rider, on a 113. Then Pedro Wuna. He's been stuck on that 114.7 for a while now. He needs to find something. And Takashi Sasaki having a quiet session so far by his standards. He's on a 114.85. I think Takashi's got 4 or 5 seconds in him if he puts his mind to it. And in 10th place, you've got Sun Tong from China. He's on a 115.9. And then you got number 102, CHANGHUA K, the Hong Kong rider. He's on a 116.5.
He's got a little bit to catch up. If you were down there, you'd be going, how fast can these guys go around this actual track?
And a 1 minute lap, there's, yeah, that's right, there's almost a 10-second difference.
Yeah, and 10 seconds, that'll be means he's going to be lapped in about just over 6 or 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. So another rider coming in. There's 13 minutes left on the clock now for this session. I think a lot of the riders think they've probably found out what they need to know, and they're checking their stock of tyres for the rest of the weekend. Busy program tomorrow with everything happening. Qualifying, Super Chrono, and 2 20-minute plus 2 lap motos to go. So tomorrow it's going to be all action. We're looking forward to that.
It's going to be pretty, well, it'll be pretty physical around here after 20 minutes as well.
Yeah,
so
it will indeed.
Quite interesting to see if anybody can actually pull back on Lewis Cornish, because he's over a second ahead.
Yeah, Pedro Wuna there. I'm not sure what he's doing there. He's not really attacking the course, is he? He hasn't got a good time under his belt yet. Come on, Pedro, show us what you got, son.
If Lewis is a bit out in front, it's going to be a great battle for second, third and fourth as well.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, the top three. Top three are quite close. Let's see how close they can get to Lewis, or if they can even stop him getting away from the start, which of course is where he's been. I think for 4 races out of 4 that he's done so far, he's had the whole shot as well. So somebody needs to get alongside him and make sure he's not in front, as he will try to push him to the outside as they go into that first turn. So we got number 7. 7, Pedro Wuna. Looks like he's pushing it a bit more this time around. He enters the dirt section. Oh, he's up on the pegs, getting over these rollers. Let's see how he tackles this tricky jump. No, it almost wasn't a jump then.
No, he just motored over it and.
Come on, Pedro. Indonesia's watching. This is live streaming.
He'll be having a dip. He was well. He's this morning. Earlier on, he was up there as well. So I can't see him. He's just trying to find his way around. I reckon they better change the gearing or just the tyre. Maybe he's on old tyres and he's just crying enough at the moment.
Yeah, it could be. But he was very tentative on the off-road section. He's got quite a lot of support here. Quite a lot of people around his team, Pedro.
Yep, a lot of support for all the riders out there. It's getting a bit chilly out here. At least the boys out on track are warm with working a bit of a sweat and get the adrenaline going at the moment.
Yeah, and we look at Takayama, one of the best performing riders so far.
Mate, he's got that thing sideways every chance he gets backing it in. Puts it on the back wheel. He might have a bit of and he's very hard on the gearbox. Did you see the way he just jammed his foot
down,
bang on onto the gear lever? Yeah. Well, the Huskies have got a pretty good gearbox, they tell me, and he's going to see how good it really is.
Yeah, so he's really, he's really braking hard, slamming down the gears, and he's snapping the throttle open again and picking the wheel up at the exit of just about every turn. So let's watch him. He knows this dirt section well. See how he negotiates at the end. Nice and smooth. Here he comes for the steep takeoff. Yep, that's it.
Well,
flat,
you could hear
nose
the
down.
over in the background there as he came off the jump.
Yeah, nice exit to that as well. That's not as easy as it looks. So he lost a bit of time in the middle part of that bend. Let's see.
He really hangs his foot out. He doesn't actually touch down. With some of them use the sole of their boot to actually scrape along the surface, but he's got the foot just hanging off the surface, using it a bit of a counterbalance to put a bit more weight on the front wheel, and bang, bang, again he goes down the gears from fifth down to third, or even fourth down to second.
Yeah, he hasn't improved his lap time, but he had a good go then. Yeah, like you say, he's just using that front boot as a counterweight. He's throwing some weight forward onto the front, make the turn easier. And there he goes.
And he does that pretty, and they're all hanging onto the left-hand side of the track there in that dirt section, so it might be just a little bit smoother.
Yeah. Oh, he tried a little bit of a whip then, but I think the wind caught him.
Yeah, he's counter steering in the air. I think he was doing as the wind picked him up. And he's had enough. He's going to pull into the pits.
Yeah, off with the goggles.
And I reckon there won't be too many guys out there with just under 8 minutes to go of this session. I think they're all basically coming into the pits.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any changes there. The main contenders are not on track at the moment, which leaves Lewis Cornish at the top of the timesheets, where we're used to seeing him. He's done a 107.461. Second place, Trakan Tang Tong from Thailand, 108.522. Third place, Kairi Zakaria, number 32. He's done a 108.752, just a smidge behind Trakan. Kairi Zakaria from Malaysia, of course, and then number 300, the rider that knows this track better than most of the riders we've got here this weekend. He's done a 109.268. Oh, looks like he's decided to have another go. So he's still enjoying himself. And after those top four, there's a 3-second gap. That hasn't changed for a while. But you've got Lin Chin Pei from Taiwan. He's done a 112.6. Has Roy Osmond, the Singapore rider, he's done a 113.1.
He's still looking for that short way around, is Nakoto. Takayama-san, I reckon he's going to be one of the dangers for the 20-minute plus 2 laps tomorrow.
Yeah, he could be.
He's parked it now. He's got the goggles off. He's put them up his forearm.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he started another lap, really. Perhaps he dropped something.
Maybe he did. His lap time.
Yeah, well, that would be it, yeah. It might be a contact lens or something.
Well, this morning he did, an hour ago he did a 110.3, so now he's taken over a second off that. Now, as we know that once you get down to those bits, trying to find the extra second and half a second and even tenths of a second is a very difficult part.
Yeah, it just gets logarithmically harder as you go down.
Logarithmically, that must be the word of the day so far, Baz.
Is it even a word? It just it just came to me.
Well, I think it is logarithmically.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of a charm to it as Naoto does a practice start. And he'll be the last bike to come into the pits for the day, I think.
Yeah, but he's going to go around again.
He's going around again. He can't get off. I'll have to get the shepherd's hook out shortly.
Still. Yeah, I think so. In you come.
Oh, maybe he just likes the accolades of the crowd, give him a bit of a boost.
Yeah.
And maybe just looking around to see where's that secret spot that he can find tomorrow in qualifying to get another. Well, he's got to take 1.3 seconds off to get anywhere near Mr. Lewis Cornish. But also he'd be looking at Tricorn Tan Tong too, the 2015 FIM Asia Supermoto champion. And maybe he just likes having a bit of a jump on the Husky.
Yeah. Well, he's happy anyway.
Or he might be trying to find second.
Happy anyway.
Or he might be trying to find second gear. He might have dropped that around the track. He's been abusing that gearbox something severely.
Yeah, that was just about a wheelie over that jump as opposed to a jump. Look, that stiff wind must be making his eyes run. Four minutes left on the clock.
So is he going to have another, see if he can put in the slowest lap of the day again? Maybe that's his aim.
Yeah. Top and tail it.
Top and tail it, get the third fastest and the slowest. So he's going to come back and do another practice. No, he's coming into the pits. He's decided that's enough.
Yeah.
And he'll be the last lad to come back into the pits to finish this free practice session, even though there is 3.5 minutes to go, but they've all had enough.
Yeah, with that wind blowing, I think Naoto Takayama's going to have a few tears in his eyes now he's stopped.
Yeah, it's, well, I can't see any. Why would anybody else go out? They've got their times there. They may as well come back and regroup for the qualifying session tomorrow over 30 minutes and then, oh no, he's decided to go out again.
Oh,
I just can't work that one out, Baz. I'm just bemused. He hasn't even put his goggles back on.
Oh, I know. Practice start?
Well, not into such a short space there. Well, maybe he is having a practice start, but there's...
You remember when you were a kid, Braxton, your mum and dad take you to the swimming pool and they can't get you to come out?
That wasn't too long ago. We used to get the old story, come home when the street lights are on. Maybe he's saying the same thing, which means that we're going to be sitting here for another 2 hours, Baz.
Yeah, yeah, it could be that. My mum and dad shouting at me to come out of the swimming pool.
Yeah, you'd be like a white prune by the time you got out of the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice and wrinkled.
Not a pretty sight.
So I hope he's actually thinking, because as we know, these are the times when you're out there just mucking about that things can go horribly wrong in a very short space of time.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to ask him.
He's looking for the bottle of whiskey for later on.
Yeah, he could be.
No, another practice start.
He's definitely a bon viveur, is Naoto Takayama. He knows how to enjoy life. This is one way, riding supermotards. Here he goes.
Yep, that'll work.
Yep.
Now he's going to have another crack, is he? No, he's decided, oh.
That's it, in you come. At that pace, he wouldn't get another lap in.
Oh, and there's a little step through's gone out the other way to greet him on the way into pit lane. That would have given him a bit of a heart start as well.
Yep. Well, the pit lane marshals were probably thought the session was over too, and they've gone for a cup of tea.
Well, now that the session's over, we might just go through it. Lewis Cornish, as we expected to be fastest, the Englishman with a 107.461. And he's the one to pace at least a second quicker in front of Tricorn Tan Tong.
He was on a
108.3. And then we had our man Naoto Takayama there in third position with a couple of tenths of a second behind him with a similar time in the 68-second bracket. So as the checkered flag will come out, but there won't be anybody on track to actually welcome the checkered flag. So with it all about to unfold tomorrow, and we'll be on air from about, as the time goes down, we'll be on air tomorrow at around for the FIM Supermoto 30-minute qualifying warm-up from about, we'll be on track from about 10:30 in the morning, I'd say. We'll have the live streaming here on the FIM Asia Supermoto Facebook page, and which will be excellent. There's well, the flag does officially come out to bring this session to a close. And just for the record, the first race is on at 1:15 tomorrow. We've got the opening ceremony starts at 1, and then at about 1:40 the FIM Asia Supermoto 20 minutes plus 2 laps starts, and there we go through the leaderboard quickly as Lewis Cornish, Trakant Tantong, Kairi Zakari are there in 3rd position, then Naota Takayama in 4th position, and looking at those times, they will be the 4 that will be fighting it out for the podium, with a few like Ling Chin Pei, Hazroy Osman, Li Wei, Pedro Wuna, Takashi Sasaki and Sun Tong, looking for any little scraps that they can pick up if there's any mistakes at the leaderboard. But looking at that, a 107.461 to a 68.45 and a 68.7. You'd have to think that the Englishman, the Thai and the Malaysian are the 3 that are going to be setting the pace, and the Japanese man, Naota Takayama there in 4th, ready to, as we said, pick up the scraps. Bazza, and I think he might be there, and he might score 1 podium at least tomorrow.
He could do as well, and let's remember also we got the Super Chrono to get through as well. So the people that aren't those first 4, there's still something to go for. There's still something to go for the Super Chrono, because we'll have the qualifying session, which will be
early in the morning, about 10:30.
About 10:30 for how long?
Yeah, it goes for half an hour.
So we've got 30 minutes of qualifying, and there's just time for a drink of water and a few deep breaths. And the fastest 6 in qualifying will go out for the Super Chrono competition,
which is at 11 o'clock local time here in Taiwan, which is an hour in front of Bangkok, and a few hours behind, 3 hours behind Australia.
Yeah, and they'll have, I think it's 10 minutes in Super Chrono.
Yep, 10-minute session.
So that will be the top 6 battling it out for the first 6 grid positions. So that'll be a highlight in terms of the action tomorrow. And then the rest of the riders
pardon me, it is 30 minutes of Super Chrono. The qualifying and Super Chrono are all 30-minute sessions. So they've got a warm-up session at 10:30 or 10 o'clock till 10:30. The FIM Supermoto from 11 o'clock till 11:30, and this is all in local Taiwanese time. FIM Supermoto, the Super Chrono at 11:30 till 12 o'clock, and then we come out with the opening ceremony at 1 o'clock till 1:15, and then the FIM Asia Supermoto race number 1 for 20 minutes plus 2 laps, which will start at 1:40. And then we finish off with the, well, we go into the Moto 2 at approximately 3:50, and then at the local boys get out the track to finish off the day at 4:20 till about 4:35, and the prize giving ceremony at 5 o'clock.
So a full day of action from around 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day, but plenty of action to keep us all entertained here at the 3rd round of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. And we'll bid you good night. Mark Braxton on behalf of Barry Russell and the rest of the crew here at make up the crew, the travelling circus of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. I bid you all good afternoon, good evening and good morning if you're in England. Matt, because I'm sitting here like this, holding it. I must have just been pressing the hand down on it. Accident. Someone did tell me to keep it closed.